Hey y'all, Angie here from Happy Girl Paper Crafting, and it's the third Friday of the month, so it's collaboration time with my group, the Crafty Bunch, and Erin Jacobson from Crafty Concepts with Erin. And Erin has challenged us this time to add texture to our layouts using embossing folders. So I have a lot of ideas, but I've narrowed it down to a beach layout from our trip to Destin and Okaloosa Island in 2022 with my family and my sister's family. So I hope you enjoy it. I have busted out some new designer series paper, the beach one that just came out, as well as some stamp sets, including the ones with the seashells on those. They're awesome. I love them. You're going to love them too. If you don't have a demonstrator, I would love to be your demonstrator. So if you see anything you like in this or any of my videos, there's always a shop link down in the description. All right, I hope you enjoy this video. All right, folks, so this is the Beach Boardwalk Designer Series paper that just came out, and I love it. I have been waiting for a nice beach paper to come out so that I could scrapbook these pages. So I love this first paper. I think the colors are just beautiful, and of course I love the palm trees. It's really unique too, and look how pretty this is. Oh, I absolutely love that color. And then look at all these sunshines. It's sort of an ombre of the coloring from like a lighter yellow to a darker, almost a orangey yellow color there. So pretty. And then look at the cotton candy clouds there. You could use it for several different things or just a kind of a random background, but it's beautiful. All right. This here is like a beach boardwalk sort of a carnival, and you could use it for other carnival things too, but it does have the palm trees. And look at the back, that nice ombre yellow fading into the pink color. I think that is beautiful. I could use that for possibly other things besides beach. And then look at this. This reminds me of like what a swimming pool looks like on a sunny day. The water looks like this. And so I'd probably use it for that, but I think you could use it for others. And then look at the clouds there. I love the variety of the clouds. But yeah, that water one for me, I'm seeing swimming pools there. All right, check out these palm trees. Now, I really like how they split this in half, where you could just kind of cut that paper in half and use the papers on each side of your layouts. And then these are some cool looking string light looking things with a sort of an orangey peachy background. I am really liking those palm trees, though. I'm probably going to use that. All right, and these are some tickets, some little tickets to the right. And then there's another one of those lighting, looks like string lights. All right, so here is the first stamp set I wanted to show you. It's called Beach Time, and it has awesome beach words, but also vacation words and summer words. And so it has a lot of different uses. I thought this is going to be perfect for a lot of different type of scrapbooking titles that I could use it for, and just words. And then this one, I've been so excited about this one, shell collecting. It's going to be fantastic for making embellishments for any kind of beach layout. I mean, I can use it for cards. I can use it for all kinds of neat things. And I'm super excited about it. And here's what's really cool. See, they look kind of small in size, but they're actually larger than the pictures show here. So, and they also have two sides. They have the back side where you can do kind of a little base, and then they have the more detailed side that you can stamp over the base, and it makes really, really neat looking things. Okay, so here is the sketch we're going to use. It is from the creative design team. I'm a member on there, and Julie Carrier made this one, and it has the right kinds of photos, and it has the right elements that I want to use for this, because I was talking about that one paper with the palm trees. So this big strip across the top is going to be perfect for that. I'm going to cut about probably a 5-inch piece of the palm tree piece that'll go there, and across the bottom I will use my embossed paper from my embossing folder, the waves, and so that's going to be awesome. It's going to be in Pool Party, and then the middle is going to have that wood grain paper from the Country Woods paper pack, and I think it's going to work out just perfectly with this sketch right here. All right, so I've got my machine out and I'm ready to use my embossing folder. I'm trying it out on this cloud cover first, and so here's my little wave thing. And so the important things to remember are that you want to have the stamp side that says Stampin' Up facing up, and then you want the fold of this to go in first so that you don't break your plates. So I'm setting in my 2 layers here that I need for embossing, and then I'm going to kind of line up at the end of my paper at the end of the embossing folder, but not quite to the end of the pattern. And so then I've got it all lined up, and now I'm ready to cover it with my little plate that goes over top of it, and we're ready to run it through here. Yeah, I got it all lined up nicely, and so let's put it in there, and we'll run that sucker through. This is so neat how it pops up these designs on here, and especially that the 3D ones are particularly cool looking. All right, so let's have a look and see what it looks like. Well, I decided I'm going to go ahead and flip it around and emboss the other side because I'm going to try and do a 12-inch long by 6-inch wide piece here. And hopefully it'll look good and not have too bad of a seam in the middle. Sometimes that just can't be avoided if you want. It'd be kind of neat if we ever get 12-inch long embossing folders, and then they'll be perfect for scrapbooking whenever we have those. But we make these work, these shorter versions. All right, now we're ready to have a look at it. Check this out. Look how cool that looks. And yeah, it has that line there, but it's not too bad. Okay, now I have the beauty of the deep embossing folders and dies to cut these kind of sand dollar shapes. And this is from my stash. I was shocked when they took this out of the rotation here last year, but I made sure and snatched it up because it's so good for beach layouts. It had so many neat things. You'll see I'm going to show them to you whenever I show you what I cut out for the layout here. And so it's cool because you run your embossing folder through there, and it gives you the impression, and then you have the matching die that in this case fits over 3 different sizes of sand dollars. And so then you just run the die, put the die on the sand dollars, and then run that through, and it cuts them out. So they're not only cut out into the shapes, but they're also embossed, so they're dimensional. And so that's another dimensional folder element, embossing folder element that I'm adding to this page that's super, super cool. So I'm kind of double dipping on it, and it's going to be really awesome. So I finished cutting those out, and then I will have those for for the embellishments. And so now I'm going to cut the other side out too, so we can have 6 of these different shapes, size of the sand dollars. And then I've got all kinds of stuff I'm gonna fix up for embellishments to go along with our beach theme. My next up thing is going to be the shells, the seashells, and I can't even tell you how excited I was to see that stamp set. The only thing that I was bummed about, looky here, look at my little dollars. All right, now we're ready to stamp some shells. And like I said, the only thing I was disappointed about, and I didn't finish my statement, was the fact that we don't have die cuts for these. And all right, so here's a couple of different kinds of ink. I've got crumb cake and basic beige. We're going to try those. And then I've got a little pink color here that I'm going to stamp just one little pair of shells. And then I don't want to do a whole bunch of them in front of you. That's tedious, so we're going to just do a couple here. So I'm going to mount my stamps on my block backwards so that I have the smooth backside of that, because I'm going to use that to make a sort of a base color that is lighter because I'm going to stamp off the darker and do the lighter side for this side. And that way I can come back with a more detailed stamp side on top of that, and then it'll be a really pretty combination of the lighter and the darker ink to make the shell really pretty. All right, so here we go. We're gonna season up the stamp a little bit because to get those chemicals that the new stamps have on those. And then we're going to go pat, 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 and stamp off one darker color and then stamp a lighter color there. All right, it's very nice and pale and soft colored. So let's do one more of those in this pink here. We're going to stamp off. Kind of do that pretty quick, but maintain some light ink on there, and then put that there. All right, happy with that. All right, so then I'm going to clean that off, and then I'm going to come back and flip my stamp over so that it has the more detailed side facing up, and then I will stamp it with the darker pink color. No stamping off this time, do the original color, and I'll put it right over top of that lighter base that I made. And I saw Chelsea Vismardi do that, and I just thought her shells turned out absolutely beautiful. And I guess I'm so inspired by those ladies in that group. They are so talented, and they give us such great ideas, so much learning to be had in the creative design team page. Highly recommend joining that whenever they open up. All right, check this out. Look how pretty those are. Oh my gosh, they're so pretty. All right, so I did some more of those stamps and cut them out off camera, and I have a bunch of embellishments for our pages we're getting ready to put together. But first, I have cut down our papers that I showed you in the beginning, and so here are my pages, my wave papers here that I embossed, and they are on Pool Party cardstock, and I cut those 4 inches wide. They're 4 by 6, so I'm going to put 2 of them side by side together. And of course, here is the paper with the palm trees, and I just love that. I really wanted that to be along the top and then the water along the bottom. I thought that would look super cool. And like I said, 5 inches on the by 12 on the palm tree ones, and 4 by 12 is what the bottom one's going to measure there. And here is that wood grain paper from the Country Woods. Isn't this so cool? And it goes great with the paper on the bottom and the top, because that has a lot of coordinating colors. And then I cut a 1/2 inch strip off of 2 1/2 inch strips so that I could use them as a border. And I don't know if I'll use it on the bottom or the top or both yet, but I'm going to tinker around with it and see. Now check out this picture of my husband. He is so handsome. That is one of my all-time favorite pictures. And there are the two of us together. We went on a little boat ride and saw some dolphins while we were down there. This was in Destin. We stayed at a place on Okaloosa Island and drove across over to Destin, Florida. And here is my 3 sons and my sister's 2 sons. Jared, Sam, and Hunter are mine, and Justin and Kyle are my sister's sons. And we had a great time. This is my oldest boy, Jared, on a jet ski. And there's actually Hunter and Sam up in the flip-flop here. I couldn't find flip-flops, so I did this version here, which I saw Dorothy Guinan from Scrapbooking Quebec do, and I thought that was great. It's a great alternative if you don't have flip-flops for putting in some extra pictures, and I'll make those lay down flatter. They'll lay down flat in the album. All right, and I was already just showing you that I had already done my cutouts of the shells, and here they are. They're coming in now. And look at those. They turned out so good. I've got a nice little variety of all the different shells. There's a little starfish and a little bitty shell. And then I had some coral. That was from the other retired set. And look at these neat little pieces. I did those in that kind of the orange color. It's actually the pinkish. It's a pink color, but it looks kind of peachy pink. And it goes well with my husband's shirt, but also it coordinates with the papers, especially the palm tree papers. And I'm just kind of showing you all the neat little embellishments we have to work with here. All right, so this is kind of how I'm going to lay these out here across the middle. Of course, I'm following the sketch. I did switch sides with the 4 by 6 wide paper, and I cut it down a little bit. It's slightly smaller than 4 by 6. And then those 2 squares there are going to go on the far right, just like the sketch. And now I had given quite a bit of thought to what I wanted to do for the title. And then I remembered this one stamp set that I had called Happy Place. And that came out here a while back, and I busted that. So I thought, well, I dug it out, and it just came out this year. So a lot of people may not even be aware that it's there, but it is a really cool beach stamp set. Look at this. Look at the word happy. It's like got that cool palm tree scene behind it. isn't that amazing? And it has all these other words that can go with it, like happy retirement or happy life, happy place. We're going to use the happy times there. So that looks, I thought that would be perfect. And then, of course, I brought back out the beach time because we're going to use some of the phrases from there. And if you can look up there at the top corner, I did stamp that one. It didn't turn out well. So I'm going to do a little banner. I'm going to do it in a different way on some white paper, and it'll look good. Look at here. Look at that happy times. Isn't that awesome? I did like kind of a little bit of a light pool party background behind it. This a little lighter than our wave paper. Now the sketch shows that this title goes up top here, so we're trying it out. And I think it looks good there, but I don't know. I'm kind of wanting to leave my palm trees up there kind of alone. I'm not going to put a whole lot up there with them. So we're going to put it down here at the bottom, I think, on the left. I think and we'll scoot it over a little bit more. And you can see that between my wave papers, I have that little line there. So I'm going to do my embellishments in such a way to kind of mask that a little bit. I don't care about that line, but I do think it looks better if I cover it up. And so then over here to the right, I'm going to put a little embellishment cluster, and just right above there, this picture here, I'm going to put a small embellishment cluster. That way we have kind of the visual triangle effect. But like I said, first things first, I am going to redo that messed up stamp that I did. And here we go. See, problem solved. I did a lot. It shows up a lot better anyway on this white banner that I cut, and it stamps perfectly. That's the scary thing about stamping on your layout, is you can screw it up, but you always have to have a backup plan. So I did another one because I like this Fun in the Sun stamp, and it's from Beach Time, and look, it's going to look great between these two photos right here. Okay, so I'm going to start kind of pulling in some of the embellishments that are going to go up there. Like right up here at the top, I'm going to have just a couple pieces, maybe 3, maybe 4 little pieces. I'll take this sand dollar. I think everyone's going to have 1 or 2 sand dollars in it, and then this really cool shape that's in this pink color, that pale pink color. I like that with it, and the size is okay. I may rethink that size. I'm going to use one of the pretty pink shells here. I only have 2 of the pink colored shells, but the paper up at the top with the palm trees has pink in it, so that pink's going to go fine with that. And look at this beautiful detailed shell. That one's in crumb cake, and I just think that looks pretty cool. I'm happy with that. It's just a small one, and I'm going to make bigger ones down at the bottom by the title and on the opposite side of the right-hand page. All right, so I'm just going to kind of start building in some pieces back behind there. There's some of the coral that I cut in that light peachy pink color. And that looks nice behind the great big sand dollar. I've got 3 different sized sand dollars from my stash that I cut up earlier. And then I've got several different of these that I'm going to kind of put in here, these different shells, and see where they work. I'm making sure I've got a little bit on each side of the title, a little bit on the left, a little bit on the underneath side, and then just kind of have a little piece on the right. And this shell here is just in the pool party color, but I still thought that was a pretty color and would look nice with this. And so this is looking, it's kind of coming together, and I think I'm going to put another small sand dollar over here, and then maybe another little pink colored element over here. That looks nice. Yep, I think that's going to work just fine like that. A little something at the top. I like my pink shell here at the top, I think. And then, yeah, all right, that's just trying some different things and tinkering with it a little bit to rearrange it. Look at it, can't help but tinker a little bit at the other side as well. And then I'm going to start working on I'm happy with this one here around the title. I'm going to go ahead and start working on the one on the right hand bottom side, and I'm going to put that just kind of farther over. This one here on the left is to the far left, and I'm going to put this one, like I said, covering that center seam that I'm trying to cover. But of course I'll start with the sand dollar and the larger elements, and I'm going to put probably another piece of the coral here, maybe 2 sand dollars over here. Some of those light peach elements that look so neat. And I have a couple of other of my shells that I stamped, and that's a little smaller that I haven't used yet, so this will be a good place to introduce that new one because it's the same neutral color as the bigger shells on the other side. So I'll put that there, and then I'm going to put, I've got a little starfish that I stamped too, and I'm going to put another one of these little blue shells here. I like to kind of spread around the colors around the page and see how nice they look. There's that little bitty one that I didn't have two. I thought I had two of, but I've either lost one or just misplaced one. And that one looks good there. We'll fine tune that here in a minute. And then I decided I was going to put this one up here, maybe. I don't want to build that one up too big, but I like how that looks, but I got to think about that. Let's see here. I feel pretty good about it. Seeing if there's any other words that I want to put in there, and they have more that I could put there. I was thinking about another one up there at the top with that set, but I don't know. I don't think we only need so many words. I do think that I'm pretty happy with that general layout, so I think I'm ready to stick down all my pictures. And I did find this little leaf stamp, and I'm using the Secret Sea ink to stamp these leaves. Now, I may regret this, but I just thought I'd like to introduce a little bit of that Secret Sea color in a very small way around the embellishments, and I thought that little bitty palm frond would be a nice way to do it. So I'm going to kind of, each one of my embellishment clusters, I'm kind of trying to stick a little leaf around the edge. I've thought about doing it around the picture here and then thought better of it. I'll just put them around each of the clusters here so that I can have just that additional little element of the Secret Sea color in kind of a, a leafy sort of way. And so, okay, I think that's going to be looking fine. I'm just going to go over here and do it on the other side too, because I think that needs it on the other side. I just think that is so pretty, that little leaf. And I know it seems weird to put it in there a color other than the green color that would naturally be. But, the palm trees are that Secret Sea color. And that's why I'm making a lot of my titles all the Secret Sea color. Those aren't black. Those are all Secret Sea. And I just think that adding some more of that element around those brighter colors of the clusters makes sense to me anyway, and I like how it looks, or at least I think I do. We're about to find out whenever I stick it all down. Yeah, sometimes learn to cover it all up if you don't end up liking how it looks, but I think it'll work. All right, I've got everything stuck down now, and so I really like it. I think it turned out pretty, and I like all the little clusters. That is probably my least confident area, is building the little embellishment clusters, and sometimes I feel like it works out great, and sometimes I'm like, ugh, not good at that, but I like these. I'm happy with this. Love the title. Isn't that so cool? I've been dying to use that. And I'm so excited that we finally got some paper that would work well with these photos. Look at my boys. Look how cute they are. They're such handsome boys. My nephews and my sons. And look at them. Look at their muscles. They love to flex their muscles when I take their picture. And I have my little flip-ups that I got from my little friend on Scrapbooking Quebec. Well, folks, if you like this layout, I would really appreciate it if you give me a thumbs up. It helps me on my channel. And if you see any products you like, I'm going to list those in the description, and there'll be links to my Stampin'Up shopping page. And here are the still shots. I hope you enjoyed this layout, and I hope that it inspires you to get out here and scrapbook your stuff.